Hola, buenos días, buenas tardes, según el lugar donde cada cual se encuentre mirando. Feliz Año Nuevo, feliz 2023 y feliz Día de Reyes para todas aquellas personas que lo celebren. Bueno, esta es una fiesta muy celebrada, querida y conocida en todo el mundo hispanohablante. Y hoy, como regalo de Reyes, desde Volver a Ver Claro, tenemos el placer y el honor de poder emitir esta película documental, Visión 2020, del interior al exterior, que es una película documental que fue creada por Nathan Oxenfeld y Barry Okertel anticipadamente al aniversario, al centenario de la visión natural. Los primeros trabajos pioneros del doctor William Bates, aunque en realidad las primeras publicaciones datan de 1918, la que se hizo más famosa y difundida fue la de 1920 y por eso en el 2020, hace 3 años, fue un año de celebración del centenario de la visión natural y hubo muchas iniciativas a lo largo de todo el mundo por parte de educadores visuales, como yo y como otros compañeros y colegas, que dedicamos el año a conmemorar este centenario y a llevar a cabo múltiples iniciativas individuales y colectivas para celebrar la visión natural. Desde Volver a Ver Claro, por ejemplo, llevamos a cabo el Foro de Visión Natural 2020, una nueva forma de ver, compartiendo técnicas de visión natural y técnicas complementarias, y también organizamos el Global Vision Summit, Bringing a New Vision to the World. Estas dos cumbres, estos dos foros, globalmente, mostraron a 53 expertos de 30 países de todo el mundo, líderes, autores, investigadores, profesores, oftalmólogos, optometristas, dedicados a la divulgación y a la difusión de la visión natural. Y al mismo tiempo, Nathan Oxenfeld y Barry Okertel estaban teniendo esta iniciativa de crear el documental Visión 2020, del interior al exterior. ¿Por qué además el 2020 era un año especial para la visión natural? Porque 2020, en las medidas americanas, anglófonas, anglosajonas, es la medida de una visión perfecta, de una visión normal, por lo menos. Entonces, pues tuvimos ahí un juego de palabras entre el aniversario, el centenario de la visión natural y tener una visión natural 2020. Bien, en el proceso de creación del documental, Mauricio Cagnoli, uno de nuestros grandes divulgadores de la visión natural entre nuestros compañeros, se puso en contacto conmigo y me invitó a que tomara contacto con Nathan Oxenfeld y Barry Okertel para ser parte del documental. Lo hicimos y hubieran querido incluirme en el documental también, pero bueno, en ese punto ya estaba la producción un poco avanzada y no se pudo. Es decir, que yo hubiera podido estar en el documental, pero finalmente pues no fue así. Dicho esto, las colaboraciones con Nathan Oxenfeld han continuado desde entonces y aparte de que tanto Nathan como Barry aparecieron en la cumbre en inglés de Visión Natural, nuestro contacto, nuestras colaboraciones han continuado y actualmente Nathan Oxenfeld, Orit Kruglansky, también una querida compañera, educadora visual, la autora de un libro precioso, Veo Bien, para niños, entre los tres estamos en este momento coordinando y editando una antología de la visión natural, un libro con un número múltiple de autores, ¿no? Todos grandes expertos de la visión natural a nivel mundial. Y en este año 2023, que para mí personalmente es un año también de aniversarios y celebraciones importantes, seguramente vamos a publicar este libro ya. Muy bien, mientras hacía esta pequeña introducción, estaba dejando también tiempo a que llegara la gente. Ya veo que hay 565 personas en este momento en vivo y en directo. Excelente. Sé que tenemos más de 5.800 personas que se suscribieron para ver la película y supongo que lo harán en cuanto puedan. Quiero también dar el aviso de que como esta película es propiedad de sus productores, Nathan Oxenfeld y Barry Okertel, tenemos la posibilidad de divulgarla una vez al año, desde Volver a Ver Claro para nuestra comunidad, porque Volver a ver claro ha sponsorizado la subtitulada o los subtítulos del documental al español. Es un documental que está en inglés, pero lo vais a poder ver, lo vais a poder escuchar con subtítulos en español y hemos tratado de ponerlos grandes y visibles para que sea fácil visualmente poder verlos. Por este motivo, como no es una propiedad nuestra, aunque tenemos una colaboración importante ahí, no podemos mantener esta grabación disponible y visible de manera permanente. Lo que hemos acordado es poder emitirla en vivo y en directo, por supuesto, y dejarla durante 24 horas. Yo voy a tratar de negociar todavía a ver si puede ser que la podamos dejar puesta para que se pueda aprovechar el fin de semana, pero no lo puedo garantizar. Entonces, si estás aquí, mi recomendación es que te quedes y que aproveches para ver el documental completo. Y si has empezado a ver esta grabación en otro momento, pues aprovecha y quédate también para verla al completo, porque no puedo garantizar cuánto tiempo podamos mantener la grabación disponible. Y por otro lado, te invito a todas las personas que estáis aquí a que os suscribáis a este canal de YouTube. Si todavía no eres parte del canal de YouTube Volver a ver claro, suscríbete porque todos los días, todas las semanas, estamos divulgando información súper útil para que puedas aprender a mejorar tu vista, a cuidar de tus ojos de manera 100% natural, científicamente validada, de manera que puedas librarte de gafas, anteojos, lentillas, lentes, pupilentes, contactos, y que lo puedas hacer sin necesidad también de recurrir a ningún tipo de operación o cirugía. Así que, muy bien, veo que ya están 666 personas, seguro que el número va a subir porque está subiendo a cada rato, pero sin tardar más, nuevamente, feliz año, daos la bienvenida a todos. Ahora mismo pongo la película y después de la película me quedaré un ratito por si hay una ronda de preguntas, de comentarios, si queremos hacer un poquito de debate, como quien dice. Yo estoy pendiente del chat, así que si hay comentarios, preguntas, etcétera, las podéis ir escribiendo y después de la película nos quedaremos un ratito. Así que, sin más dilación y como regalo de Reyes para arrancar bien este 2023, con una buena vista interior y exterior, allí va el documental. Visión 2020, del interior al exterior.
Have you ever wondered why so many people wear spectacles? Why is it that the average person's eyes get worse and worse with each passing year? Why do we need to get stronger and stronger lenses in order to have good vision? This documentary will share the stories of how people all over the world are improving not only their physical vision, but the way they see life. Our story starts on the Gold Coast of Australia. Barry Orcatel is a vision educator who has been helping people improve their vision using natural means for more than 30 years.
My journey started when I was 32 and I was wearing these thick Coke bottle glasses with minus 4.75 prescription for seeing, plus I needed about a +2 for reading, and there was astigmatism as well. And I was told when I was 32 that I had an eyesight of someone in their 40s. And I started experimenting with some of the exercises, and after 2 months I managed to get back into single lenses, and I've never needed glasses for reading again in the last 20 years. 4 months later I passed a driver's licence with 20/20 vision. I can remember the first time I actually went the whole day without wearing my glasses. It was so exciting. 2 weeks later, they found a pituitary tumour sitting on my optic nerve. And they told me you shouldn't be able to see that. And I said, but I've been doing these exercises and things like that. And so there's been a journey for me, not only in terms of my physical eyesight, but in terms of my life. As I sort of got further and further into improving my own eyesight, other people kept asking me, how do you do this? How do you do this? And so I started running vision classes locally and then interstate and then internationally. And I ended up doing a Masters of Education specifically looking at the effect computers have on eyesight and what we can do about it.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Nathan Oxenfeld, also a vision educator like Barry, is surprised at how little natural eye improvement is being used by the public.
When I first heard that you could improve your vision naturally, I thought it was a little too good to be true, because I had already been wearing glasses and contacts every day for over a decade for my myopia or nearsightedness and astigmatism. I found a book called Perfect Sight Without Glasses that was published 100 years ago in 1920, which is what led me to work with my vision teacher, Dr. Jerry Ann Tabor. And once I improved my own eyes, I wanted to help as many other people as I could to improve theirs. So I actually went through Dr. Tabor's teacher training program to become a certified vision educator. I published a book called Give Up Your Glasses for Good, began a YouTube channel, and started a podcast, and led workshops, classes, and retreats all around the world. And it was at one of these conferences where I met Barry Alcatel from Australia. And we both felt like there was just so much more that could be done in this field.
I'm off to America to see Nathan again. What Nathan and I are going to be doing is catching up with all the vision educators in America and in Europe, and to get to see from them what we can do about improving our own physical eyesight.
Hi, I'm Claudia Mühlenweg and I'm a vision educator from Los Angeles.
So my name is Pascio Roberto Kaplan and I'm a vision educator optometrist, former optometrist. I now live in Germany. I'm from South Africa.
Nathan and Barry are interviewing some of the top vision educators in the world. These people have dedicated their lives to improving the vision of others and have developed a wealth of knowledge which we will be tapping into. The field is growing as more and more people search for ways to improve their eyesight.
So I had heard of Bates in school, and we were lectured very strongly about not even paying any attention to it because it was not scientific and incorrect. But maybe 10 years after I graduated school, I happened to run into a book on Bates. And at the time I was involved in Tai Chi and yoga and meditation. And as I kind of thumbed through the book, I said, well, this is like Tai Chi and this is like yoga, and I'm an optometrist and I'm myopic. Well, let me try an experiment to see if it works. And that was how I started.
I was born with cataracts. It's very, very unusual. There are many people with cataracts. I would say that something like 75% of the people at the age of 80 either already had cataracts or are having cataracts. But only 1 out of 20,000 infants are ever born with it. There was a working theory in my time that you remove parts of the lens rather than the whole lens. And 99% of my lens is scar tissue. This is a normal lens, and this is mine after 5 cataract surgeries. So 99% of my lens is scar tissue. I was able to build up enough vision with which I can read, write, and drive. And I blew up my driver's license so everybody can see it. I don't care about privacy. I don't have it anyway.
I was wearing glasses for 20-something years, and I had myopia. And I didn't have a clue that you could improve your eyesight in another way. So glasses were for me the way to see clearly. And then I met Amelia Salvador and I did several sessions with her. She taught me the Bates method and I practiced and I noticed I was improving.
I was legally blind without glasses. Without glasses, I couldn't see the big E on the eye chart. But now, I'll be 64 this year, I can see up close everything I need to, and I can pass a driving test without glasses. So I am glasses free 99% of my waking life. I do have a very slight prescription for glasses for driving at night. And I started wearing glasses in 3rd grade.
My personal experience is that I was very short-sighted from age 6 to age 30, then read a book of a scholar of William Bates, which I by accident found. The work with the book was not very successful, but I took it with me on a journey in Asia, Sri Lanka. And there I couldn't wear my contact lenses anymore. And I remember to a sentence in this book, under good circumstances, the visual energy could grow from itself. So I took away my glasses, made the whole journey about 4 months in Sri Lanka and Nepal without glasses. And after that, 2 years needed no glasses at all.
I had trouble seeing at school and squinting to see the television type of thing. My parents noticed and sent me to an optometrist. I came home with a pair of glasses. Typical, right? Story that so many people have. And I went to school with the glasses and found that, one, I got teased, I got asked questions, they were uncomfortable. I found that behind this barrier, I felt like I was no longer part of the world, no longer a participant, but more like an observer hidden behind this weird thing on the top of my nose. So that's what I couldn't get used to. And it was such mild myopia that the glasses really only made a small difference. I figured I could do without. So after a few weeks of trying to get comfortable with them, I just forget it. I tossed them. And I think I told my parents I lost them. I was still living with my parents at the time. They weren't too impressed. They just paid for them. And of course, I ended up squinting through life because I had slightly blurry vision, didn't know what to do about it other than if I did this, I saw a little better. So that's what I ended up doing. And it worked for 16 years.
I had what's called a convergent squint. My right eye was going in and I was farsighted. And I hated my glasses. They made me miserable. I got bullied and teased, and just my whole life made me even more shy. So once I got older, I actually found this book on vision improvement and I started doing some of the techniques and I saw improvements. But then I forgot all about it. And then at the end of my marriage, when that fell apart and I actually went through a really horrible divorce, my vision just tanked. It got really, really bad. And I remember one particular day where I was driving and I got lost in a sketchy part of town. And back in the day, there was no Google Maps, right? So I had to pull out this old, it's called the Thomas Guide in LA. It's teeny print. And even with my glasses, everything was blurry. I couldn't see anything. I took them off. So I panicked. I thought if I lose my vision, if it's getting worse and worse at that speed, I'm going to lose my job. I was a designer back then. So, you can't work as a designer when you can't see. So I remember that book and I pulled it out. But the biggest epiphany I really had was that it wasn't just good vision habits and vision practices, but that the emotional component, like I was sleep deprived, I was stressed out all the time, I was lonely and I didn't like where I was at. I didn't feel connected to people, like the glasses were this barrier. So I realized then that it's way bigger than just what eye exercises.
And your brain is flexible, your visual system is flexible, your auditory system also is flexible, and there is a rigid concept that people have that things cannot be changed. And so this is a very important thing for us to know, that first of all, vision can improve, but also things in life can change. And most people don't believe that that's the case.
I had a chance to participate in the training course for vision teachers, and I became a teacher, and then I became enrolled in this, and I'm passionate about it. At the beginning, I was like afraid of having people with huge problems, like pathologies or something like that. But in the end, I have learned that everybody can benefit from this. Everybody can have improvement. This is real benefit, not only for the eyes, but also for the mind, for the body, for the way you live, the way you see the world, and even children. I love to work with children too.
Wearing glasses is that you are not seeing the real world. The world is made to be seen without glasses. And you can have a different point of view. And it depends on you. It depends on how you feel, on how you are in every moment.
There was one 52-year-old man who was farsighted and presbyopic, which is having to use reading glasses after the age of 40 or 45. And he said, I hate glasses, and that's why I'm here. And I thought, gee, I wonder what could help him special. So I came up with an aspect of vision, and I wondered if I manipulated it in some way, triggered it in some way, whether it would actually improve his ability to read without glasses, and if it improved him doing it during the exercise, maybe it would carry over so he wouldn't have to wear glasses. And so I made a particular eye exercise chart for him and taught it to him. And he came back the next week, and I was excited to see what he would say. And he said, I said, how's it going? He said, I'd like 5 more charts. I said, why? Thinking he wanted one for his wife. And I said, why? He said, I love the exercise. Not everybody has an easy time with it, but he said it makes my eyes feel strong. They feel better. I want to do it all the time, every time I have a chance. And he said, I want a chart for the kitchen, I want one for the TV room, for the bedroom, for the bathroom, one at work where I can do it during the day. And so the next week he came and I said, how's it going? He said, for 3 days, so 11 days after he started, I don't have to wear glasses for reading. I read all day long at work. I can see without my distance glasses perfectly. And he went from at 20/50 to start with, and now he could see 20/25. It's good enough to read the phone book and to read the small print in the newspaper. So he was really happy, and I was totally amazed that in 11 days he could turn around his situation. 3 years later, he came to my office, and he saw even better. He saw 20/20 and near 20/25.
I met Ray Gottlieb in 1979, and he introduced me to the Bates process. And at that point, I was a professor of optometry at Pacific University and in Oregon, and natural vision improvement was not something I'd ever considered. My specialty is vision therapy, optometric vision therapy. But with his introduction to what he did for his own myopia, and also meeting Jakob Lieberman, who also had success with his astigmatism and his myopia. When my patients came into the clinic and said, can you help me see better? I thought, well, why not try it? And so I launched a number of studies. The most important thing about the studies was that eyesight improvement could occur in 3 weeks, statistically significant results. And that's published in my book, Seeing Without Glasses.
Well, I was skeptical because somewhere in that 16 years of my blurry vision, I tried eye exercises, and I tried them for several weeks every day, really religiously went and did that. Didn't work at all. And I thought I was doing the Bates method, but it had absolutely no result. It was boring and tedious, and so I gave up. And I became one of the many skeptics that said, Bates method doesn't work, eyesight improvement doesn't work. Until 8 years later, I came across a different book. And that book had a different concept. It wasn't about eye exercises, it was about relaxing your eyes. How do you use your eyes all day long? And that made a big difference. Once I grasped that concept and started using it, within 2 weeks I was back to 20/20 vision.
I wore glasses for 10 years, and within 6 months I was seeing clearly. I remember being in the mountains with my family, camping, being in a swimming pool, looking around, and all of a sudden I looked and went, oh my gosh, I'm seeing everything clear. And I've been doing it for 47 years and still seeing clearly.
I was highly myopic as a child. starting in second grade, and discovered vision improvement in my 20s and took some classes and had a really good time, learned a lot. And then 15 years later, I developed an eye disease, which necessitated surgeries, and I had some vision shifting and some vision loss with surgeries. So after that, I rediscovered vision improvement because I wanted to recapture my vision after my procedures. And I successfully transformed my vision from 2400 to 2100 using natural vision improvement techniques.
I wore glasses when I was 13 for nearsightedness, and then the glasses gradually got stronger. And then when I was studying to be an orthoptist at Moorfields in London, I wanted the strongest possible contacts, and it was actually a bit much seeing 20/10, I realized. So that was an interesting experience. Then I came to the US and I studied yoga, and I stopped wearing contacts, and I met a Bates teacher, and he taught me how to get out of my glasses, and then I started teaching it. And I just want to tell you, my first student was a boy of 9, and he came in because he'd failed the vision test at school, and he was seeing 20/40, poor 20/40. And so I sent him away with some activities, and in 2 weeks he came back and he was seeing 20/20, a really good 20/20, and I was so encouraged. It got me turned from the orthoptics and ortho way of looking at vision, or allopathic way, to, oh yes, this is possible for more people than just me.
The Bates method is a form of vision training or vision therapy that was developed by an ophthalmologist about 100 years ago now. He lived from 1860 to 1931, Dr. William Bates. He was based in New York City, and he started off just as like a conventional eye doctor, prescribing glasses and performing surgeries. But he was really one of the first people to really question glasses as being like the best solution. He really wondered, he saw that what I saw, which was that he would prescribe glasses to people and then they would come back and need stronger and stronger glasses over time. And that got him scratching his head wondering, is this really the best way to treat vision problems? It seems to actually be making them worse over time.
My dad was an accountant, and he said, what do optometrists do? And I said, well, you know, we come in, we examine your eyes, we give you prescriptions for glasses or contacts, we check for eye disease, and then the people thank us and pay us. And he goes, okay. Then they come back a year or two later, and what happens in over 75% of the cases? They come back a year or two later, and we examine them and check it, and then they need stronger glasses. So he goes, let me get this straight. You give them something, and they thank you and pay you. I go, yes. And they come back. I go, yes. And they thank you and pay you again. I go, yes. He goes, you mean you give them something and it gets worse and they come back? I go, yes. He goes, this is a very good profession.
The optometric profession right now stopped calling it myopia control. They call it myopia management. Why? Because myopia control failed. They don't have a solution. They are working with axial length, they are working with flattening the cornea, and they're working with drops, 3 primary approaches. We manage myopia.
Neuroscience has demonstrated the neuroplasticity of the brain, and eyes are part of the brain. That's the problem with current traditional eye care. They only look at the eyeball as if it's like this thing that you can take out of, I can take it out of my eye and they can observe it and that's it. But the reality is that we are driven by the nervous system. So the brain is really in charge of muscle tension, of coordination. And so any vision problems can be completely changed. Like you can change your brain, your eyes can be changed.
Embryologically, physiologically, and neurologically, the eye is brain tissue. In multiple personality disorders, all the different personalities had different prescriptions. So when you improve your vision, you're working on your mind-body connection. It has effects on your posture, it has effects on your attitudes and belief systems in the world, and your personality. So I feel that vision therapy is one of the most powerful modalities to help change who you are, how you are, and how you see the world.
The eye is only the printer of our inner perceptions. And so you don't focus on the printer when you're working with your computer. You focus on the software, and the perceptions are the software. And so my wish for people is to first recognize that the eye is only a light receiver and a transmitter, and that we see through the eye. And therefore, if there's an eye problem, we first work with perceptions, and later the eye catches up and prints out exactly what the new perceptions are.
Dr. William Bates put forth this notion that nearly all vision problems are caused by strain. Not only physical strain, but mental strain. And the opposite of strain happens to be relaxation. So nearly everything in the Bates method, if not everything in the Bates method, is built on this platform that relaxed eyes are normal eyes and they see better than strained eyes, as well as strained minds. So it's a system of relaxation is the simplest way you can think about it.
Only relaxed eyes really see clear. And without relaxation, you may try hard, and the more you try hard making exercises, the worse it gets.
For example, if you are reading and you don't see properly, breathe and close your eyes. Close your eyes is really effective. And then breathe and then open them again. It's like reset your focus. Don't start trying to focus, because then you are going to interfere. You are going to interfere with tension. Close your eyes, breathe, and open again. Give your eyes another chance to do it better.
If we're nervous, stressed, tight, our body and muscles tighten up. And because of the limitation of blood flow, energy, chi to our body, it also limits the flow of energy to our eyes and brain, and everything can become tight. And if we stay in this chronic state of tightness and stress, the whole visual system can become more constricted.
Those magic eye picture books that I do, for you to be able to just let your eyes gaze effortlessly at it, then all of a sudden a hidden image comes out. Letting the images come to you and not you going to the image.
A violinist that I worked with, she was, doing the activities, and her vision was gradually getting better. She's very auditory, and Bates said if you relax one of the senses, they all relax. And I thought that was an outrageous statement when I read it, actually. And I said, okay, well, let's try this. I said, can you remember A, the note A? Since, as a violinist, we all tune to them. And she said, yeah. I said, okay, so see if you can remember A and look at the print. She was presbyopic. And she took a minute, and I said, well, you might need to blink, And she went, and it was super clear, and she got it, and she read all the way down to the tiny print. And she was flabbergasted, and I was thrilled. And I said, okay, so practice that, and then you'll get used to the fact that you can read it. And then the doubt will go away, and you'll just relax. Because really, it was clear, when we get the experience of seeing perfectly clearly, we start to trust that we can. Because a lot of us are afraid we're not going to see something. And what we need to do is trust that we will. And then we relax, and we do.
Sit in front of an eye chart at a distance where most of it is clear, and start thinking of anything that tenses you, bills that need to be paid, an argument you've had, and look at that chart and say, a little less clear. And then start thinking about, my next vacation, or something happy, something joyful, a baby's face. And you'll see the chart clears up because your thoughts are happy.
Getting the eye and mind connection going again, and that's what the Bates method is all about.
A very, very simple thing to do. Remove their glasses, check their eyesight, sit down and have a friendly conversation over a cup of tea for 20 minutes or so, and then recheck their eyesight on the same or a different chart. Routinely, you will see perhaps a 2 to 3 line improvement in less than 30 minutes.
I've learned that I'm teaching or helping people to relax.
So you're going to rub your hands, and then you're going to cup them like you've got some eggs, and you're going to place them, the palms of your hands, over your closed eyes like this. Only for about less than a minute we're going to do, and then when you're finished, I'm going to get you to drop your hands, and with your 2 fingers, just touch the corners of your eyes, allow your hands to drop, and then open your eyes again. Right? It's going to be that simple. If I'm going to say, have you improved your eyes, you need to know what your eyes are. So have a look around, have a look up something close, see if there is a difference in something. Okay, so let's all do this now. Let's rub our hands. And let's cup our hands as if we've got 2 eggs in them, and we're going to place them over our eyes. And we're just going to breathe for a moment. And I just want you to be aware, is it hot or cold? Is it tingly? Do you see all black, or do you see colours, or do you see shapes? Whatever it is, just bring your awareness to it. And I also want you to bring your awareness to how you're feeling right now. And just let yourself relax just a little bit more. Maybe even drop your shoulders a little bit if you can. And then very slowly, just allow your hands to drop. And then very gently, just open your eyes and have a look around. And I'll just have a show of hands if anyone's noticed any difference in that 1 minute exercise. Have a look around the room, the hands up in the room. There are probably over 50% of people have had a shift in 1 minute. It's not bad, is it?
When you wear glasses, your eyes get worse. They never get better. They don't improve. They always seem to need to have the next stronger pair, and you don't even have to tell people that, they know it.
And so the glasses really create more of a problem. And typically, people that use glasses find that within a year or so, or a year or 2, they will need slightly stronger glasses. And it keeps going in that same fashion, worse vision over time. And that's a shame, because it could be turned around by not using the glasses.
Glasses are a tool. They may help you, but you pay, or you always pay for that help. By using glasses, you always go into a pattern of tension, and that pattern stays, never changes. The glasses are like something that frees a situation, and a situation of tension that can only get more and more. If they are not necessary, then it's much better not to use them, or to use reduced lenses.
When you experience blurry vision, it's like your system or your body is sending you a signal saying, hey, something's wrong. You're not seeing correctly. And when you put glasses on, you're essentially sending the signal back like, hey, shut up. There's no problem, I can see again. And so you've ignored the original root cause of the issue. And they are prescription glasses, so it is a prescription that becomes very addictive and very habit forming. And I've met so many people who their vision, right when they start to use the glasses, their vision immediately gets even worse when they take them off, and then they are hooked on the glasses. And so they're really a crutch that prevents us from looking on these deeper levels of what is actually causing the problem in the first place.
There is an upside to glasses. It's an instant fix. But there's so many downsides to it. It does not address the underlying cause of the problem.
We need to really examine this point about 2020. And we are so conditioned that 2020 eyesight is the ultimate perfect vision. It's great for eyesight and it has advantages in our living, but it's so fear-based that people must really look at their fear behind this legislated rule that everybody has to see 20/20. And when we do that, we're going to find this incredible dynamic mobility and flow of this fluctuating seeing.
What I love to teach people is that their vision is flexible and it can change. I generally check vision acuity on the chart when we start. And then we go about and do vision techniques. And then I generally check their vision after. And most people are standing further back from the eye chart with a comfortable reading at the end of class. It's beautiful to see the joy and the expressions on their face that our vision is flexible and it can change.
Sometimes you hear you just ditch your glasses, right? That's unrealistic for a lot of people, because if your vision is so blurry that your clarity is right here. So using transitional glasses, weaker glasses, and only use what strength you need. Diopters are measurement in terms of meters and focal points. So any diopter can only correct you for one distance. If you wear glasses for nearsightedness, because for driving, for instance, which is like, 20 feet, 6 meters, your computer is 2 feet or 60 centimeters away from you. You don't need the same strength. So really only use whatever strength you need just to have enough clarity for a given task. Not seeing the street signs 5 blocks over, right? That might not be important for if you cook a meal, let's say.
It seems silly, but to make friends with blurry is a good point, because you are not fighting against blurry, because when you remove glasses for the first time, you think you are not going to see clearly ever. But if you wait for a while and you start relaxing and feeling that is your own being, your own sight, then it starts, the tension starts to release, and then everything gets clearer.
It helps to be creative and introspective and experimental, and to treat things as an experiment, so that whatever happens because of the experiment isn't wrong, it's the answer to the experiment.
So tune in and especially take your glasses off and notice, when is my vision best and when is it worst? So you discover patterns. Could be the time of the day, could be your emotional state, could be how stressed you are, how much sleep you got, but just detecting those things. So I like to call that, like in a journal, the strains and the gains, right? So you kind of have both sides, because then you kind of have a better idea what is the way for you to improve.
A woman came to my workshop and she walked in and was reluctant to even give up her glasses, to not even put them on the side of the room. And she had such a major shift in that one class that she came to me for several sessions. And within several sessions, she left wearing glasses, prescription, that was probably about 8 years old. It was 2 prescriptions prior. And she has never gone back up to her stronger prescriptions.
And the weaker lenses, as a stepping stone, create a dance, a balance of returning between this heavy thinking state, feeling state, and remembering I'm a human being.
For me, glasses stop people from seeing their own power, from seeing their own wonder and their own gifts.
The problem with glasses is that we get stuck in them. Wearing glasses for short periods of time, like dentists to look at my teeth, or looking through a telescope at Mars, that's fine. Those are lenses used in a really good way. Or if we're going through a stressful period, like a kid going to a new school, high school, for instance. I had this one kid, and she just, everything was very overwhelming. So she just wore them for short periods of time, and then she'd take them off and do the activities. And after a year, she didn't need them anymore. She was habituated, she was okay. And if we break a leg, we need crutches. And then we expect to do physical therapy and get out of them.
But sometimes you wear glasses because you put them on in the morning and then you don't remove them. First time I saw her, she told me, okay, remove your glasses. and let's see what you can see. And I said, without my glasses, I can't see anything. And she said, anything? So you don't see me? I said, oh, yes, I can see you, of course. Then, why did you talk like that? And changing the way you talk, the way your mind. And also, do a list of all the things you can do without glasses. And that list keeps on growing.
Yeah, nobody needs glasses to talk on the phone. But everybody gets them on.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like shoes, they may need 2 or 3 pairs of glasses. One pair of glasses that reduces that bad stress. Another pair that says, look, I just got a job to do right now. I've got to drive 50 miles. Look, I'll wear these glasses for that. But to be flexible like shoes.
Lots of people ask me how they can use reduced prescription glasses. So I recommend ordering several different pairs of prescription glasses that are less than the current prescription.
Is this a -2 day or -4 day? Oh, I'm going to walk the dog in the forest, -2 day. And then, oh, I have to drive to the city, or -6 day. And play a musical instrument, that's -4 day. So he chooses his lifestyle by the right glasses for the job for that day.
I personally wear indoor glasses that allows me to see my books, my recipes, the newspaper, and that's really comfortable. And when I go on the computer, I have a slightly stronger pair that allows me to see comfortably within a certain distance. And then when I drive, I have distance glasses for comfort and safety.
And I'm not in favor of people saying throw away your glasses. I think that they are basically deepening an emotional suppression, facing that much unclearness. And I've worked with people who were -10 and didn't wear their glasses for 10 years, and their life actually was affected. And when they went to -5, they somehow returned to a centered position, and they could do their work and their training much better.
So for me, it's still the experiment. I want to see how far I can go, how old I can be and still not need reading glasses.
How many people here wear glasses? There's still a lot, isn't there? And so the question I would ask you is, what is it in life that you're not looking at? And the two are actually connected.
The most important thing that Dr. Bates taught in my eyes is something called central fixation. And this is less of a practice, and it's more of a habit or a different way to use your eyes or look at the world. So I want you, if you had to show me where your peripheral vision is with your hands, where would your hands go? And then if I were to ask you where your central vision is, where would maybe your hands go then? Okay, so we've got 3 different things. We've got one finger, we've got kind of a narrow area, and then a little bit wider. So we've actually got 4 main layers of our visual field. Where you put your hands first, that's your far peripheral vision, the very edge of your visual field. When you bring your hands in a little closer, you're in your middle peripheral vision. When you bring your hands a little closer, you're in your near peripheral vision, kind of like a circle. And then that comes all the way up and touches your central vision, which you're going to grab 2 different colored pencils. The tip of one of the pencils is going to represent the size of your central vision. So if you look at one tip of one pencil, that is your central vision. And just look how small it is. The root cause of many vision problems is the loss of central fixation. Or the opposite of central fixation is called diffusion, where you diffuse, you open up your area of focus to too large of an area. You're trying to see too much at once. It's anatomically impossible because all of your cones are packed into the center of your retina, this little tiny spot called the macula, which is about 0.15 millimeters, which is very, very small. When you try and spread out and see my whole face at once, or an entire eye chart at once, you are asking your rods to do the job of the cones. which is anatomically impossible. So they put up a fight. They're like, what do you do? Why are you telling me to do the job of the cones? And then that creates all this strain and blur, and we lose our vision. When we can learn to shrink our central vision down to a really, really tiny point, that's when we can see clearly without glasses. And this is why people can practice the Bates method for 20 years and not see clearly, because I'll ask them, how's your central fixation? What? What do you mean? They're missing the most important element of how to see without glasses.
Look what we're doing with our eyes these days. We're basically looking at the phone all the time, looking at computers all the time. Don't give the eye the chance to look at a distance, which our ancestors used to do. Forget that we have periphery, and forget to look at real minor details. We just do that, and that's the formula for glaucoma, cataract, and macular degeneration.
If we're using a computer or a phone or a tablet these days, more than 2 hours a day. Now that's not that long. If you think about how often you spend on a tablet, a phone and a computer, more than 2 hours a day, then it has a detrimental effect on your eyesight.
Thriving and surviving the technological age is ruining our eyesight. I mean, over 80% of children 12 and under in China and Japan are nearsighted now. I think it's by the year 2030 or 40, there's going to be 5 billion people nearsighted.
I did a Masters of Education in how computers can impact our eyes. When I wrote the final thesis, I found that there was 3 things that we can do to improve our physical eyesight at the computer. The first is to make sure that we blink, because we tend to have a tendency to stare at the computer, especially with spreadsheets and Word documents. The second one is to breathe and just relax a little bit while we're at the computer. Because again, we have a tendency to hold ourselves at the computer. And the third one is to make sure every now and then you simply look away, look at a window, a picture beside you, and then come back to the screen to allow our eyes adjust back to the screen itself.
And I know of one ophthalmologist that a woman brought her 15-year-old daughter, and to fit glasses, she didn't see well. He said, how long is she in front of a computer? The woman said, the whole day. He said, let her go and play. And he wasn't unconventional. He just was an ophthalmologist with some brain and intuition. So she went and played every half an hour. She came back in 2 months. There was no need for glasses.
We often sit at the computer with our necks slightly bent, and our eyes as a result are not level, they're actually over, and it puts more strain on our eyesight. And the way we can check that is simply put our thumb out with a slightly bent arm, and we look past our thumb. So look into the distance and just be aware of your thumb. And what it would look like is you'll see 2 thumbs because you're looking into the distance. And one thumb may look higher than the other. So you're tilting your ear from left to right, and as you do that, it appears as if your thumbs are going up and down. And the least amount of stress on your eyesight is if your eyes are level. And so tilt your head until you've got that level, and that puts the least amount of stress on your eyes while you're working on the computer.
Maybe you can set your timer for every 5 minutes to look at 20 feet or more. And we're very resistant. It's really annoying, right? When we first do it, what do you mean I have to look in the distance every 5 minutes? And after a while, we get used to that.
It's really important that the processes that we talk about, that it becomes a daily activity for you.
I've got a huge garden in the valley, apple orchards and growing my own vegetables, to get involved with their hands and to remember that our eyes are part of this incredible existence called nature. We just have to get back there.
The sun is not your enemy. The sun is your best friend. And if you learn how to adapt to it in our methods, you actually would be able to see way, way better.
It's really important to start your day with light. It not only is healthy for your eyes, but it sets your circadian rhythms. If you expose yourself to bright light first thing before you do anything in the morning, then you're guaranteeing an easier night's sleep that next night, and it compounds.
I want to find a way to adapt to daylight, not to escape it.
Out of the entire Bates method, the sunning is my absolute favorite. And even though my vision's normalized and I don't necessarily need to keep doing practices, I still sun my eyes every day. People know you get vitamin D through the skin, but you get so much more through eye exposure.
Go outside without glasses. Many people are adverse to the sun. They're afraid of it, or it hurts their eyes.
Our eyes not only experience the world of sight, but our eyes are the only transparent biological windows of the body that allow light, which is nature's most perfect fuel mix, to enter the body and to literally energize every cell in the body. And because all of our physiology is inseparable from light, darkness, and all the changes that exist in between light and darkness.
If you are light sensitive, you want to be really gentle with it. And we're not saying you're not allowed to wear sunglasses. If you want some protection, if you know you're going to be out at the beach all day or skiing or whatever, just don't wear really dark tinted sunglasses, because that's what weakens your iris muscles. When you have really dark glasses on and it's really bright out, your brain thinks, oh, it's like nighttime. So your pupils dilate and your pupils never get to constrict enough because you never exposed to the brightness. So if you wear lightly tinted sunglasses or even like yellow tinted sunglasses, it cuts the glare. It gives you some of the UV protection, but it doesn't weaken your iris muscles. What I do is I actually lift my eyebrows up and keep my eyes down. And you just always want to keep moving either side to side or up and down. I do sun sandwiches. So that's where I do 10 or 15 seconds of sunning, followed by 10 or 15 seconds of palming. And I just alternate really, really bright, really, really dark, back and forth for anywhere between 1 minute and 5 minutes. I talk about 4 rules of sunning. Always letting your comfort be your guide. So never go overboard with it. Always balance the sunning with palming. A little bit often is better than a whole bunch at once. So just taking little tiny doses throughout the day, and then don't stare at the sun with your eyes open.
While I making my food and I can connect to the colors I see and breathe in with my eyes the colors. I'm preparing the food or I'm eating the food.
So what's the number one food for the eyes? Nope, it's not carrots, but kale. Kale is the highest degree of lutein, zeaxanthin, along with orange peppers. So I believe that we have to nourish our eyes through diet. The best foods: kale, orange peppers, blueberries, the dark grapes. As much as we can do multicolors in our foods, the best for our eyes.
So one thing I'd like you to do is just to squeeze your eyes like that. Squeeze them really tight and then open them. And when you open them, become aware of the first thing that you see. Everything might pop up and you might actually get to see something and go, wow.
And go for the hobbies. Go for the passion of creativity. Choose hobbies that are fun and activate the feeling nature. Because most eyesight difficulties is an overthinking. It's an overdoing. Too fast, not taking enough time to really see.
Not too much only stay in this thinking, that because that's the past, or creating a new future is not the moment. It's on the moment is sensing.
Yoga teaching and vision education is very similar in that the belief systems are relaxation, flexibility, hydration, awareness, and just a greater sense of self, but mostly deep relaxation.
And what does yoga mean? It means union, going back to integrative medicine.
I think he went around and tried to figure out what other cultures were doing, because a lot of what the Bates method is based on is a lot of yoga and yogic techniques and yogic thought.
Before I learned about any of this vision stuff, I was a registered yoga instructor. So I love to explore the connection between yoga and the vision, specifically including things like meditation and breath work and just healthier lifestyle in general that yoga has been teaching for thousands of years as well.
So a hint I love to tell my students is to simply close your eyes, relax your eyes in their eye socket, relax the cheekbones, relax your jaw, Relax the back of your tongue, because if you can relax the back of your tongue, your whole body can relax. And in that state, just taking a breath, deeply relaxing, and gently breathing and blinking open really has the ability of resetting the nervous system and to allow the eyes to rest just for that split second.
What I want people to do right now is just to yawn. And maybe seeing me yawn or hearing me yawn is contagious and it makes you yawn. Even if you don't yawn, you can fake it till you make it and just kind of go through the motions. Just take a big breath in and make that sound, that sigh sound. And even if you don't yawn, maybe just doing a sigh, an audible sigh from high to low, like one breath like this can actually make an instant change in your nervous system. What it's doing is actually calming down the vagus nerve, which is one of the biggest nerves in the body that connects to many of the major organs in the system. And a lot of people are kind of stuck in the fight, flight, or freeze sympathetic response in the autonomic nervous system. And when you take one deep breath or yawn or sigh, it starts to move you a little bit more into the rest, relax, digest, parasympathetic nervous system. And that's what the Bates method teaches, right? Is how to relax and how to calm your nerves, because all vision problems are nervous problems. And so anything you can do to calm your nerves is going to help your eyes as well. Not to mention you're just getting a lot more oxygen. And you may notice if you are yawning with me right now, that you actually notice some tear production. And eyes with a healthy tear film see better than dry eyes do.
My journey began in 1992 when I was completely run over by a truck. And it went over my entire body, up my spine, over my head, and crushed my face in the rocks. The only thing that was not damaged was my left eye orbit. It was on limestone gravel, and so the rocks were different sizes, and there was a big rock that crushed my orbit, but it protected my eyeball, so I didn't go blind. I've had over 30 reconstructive surgeries. I had a diagnosed moderate to severe brain injury and musculoskeletal, chronic pain. It's been quite a journey. They didn't know if I'd live or die, and I was disabled completely for over 10 years.
I was operated on for a pituitary tumour. I'm sitting on the optic nerve. And they told me you shouldn't be able to see. And this became the next challenge for me to gain not only my eyesight back, but all of my vision.
I've had a number of eye surgeries due to an eye disease and have necessitated really finding ways to make myself mentally, physically, and emotionally ready for surgeries, but also how to care for my eyes and my vision post-op, because we're not always educated by our surgeons on post-operative care.
They found out that my optic nerve was so damaged I was going blind. It was like living in a moving kaleidoscope all the time. And then on the 4th orbital reconstruction surgery I had, I nearly went blind again from this eye because the exterior muscles were trapped in the orbital floor from previous surgeries. And they released them, but they didn't take care of my eye, and I developed a terrible corneal ulceration where I nearly went blind, plus my eye turned completely in.
First of all, we should do anything we can do to resolve things naturally. And if we can't, to use external invasive procedures, and then after we use them, return to nature and do anything that we can do naturally.
It's really important to allow the eye a long time to heal. And personally, I don't begin real focused natural vision improvement techniques until about 9 to 12 months post-op. I think the eyes and the visual system really need time to find a homeostasis, and then from there you can begin to retrain and rebalance the visual system. Through nutrition, gentle massaging of the eyes and the forehead, relaxing all the trauma that we experience from surgeries, can really help us heal on a gentle level without disrupting all the process that was just done.
And the evidence from the ophthalmologist is that the healing is better.
I read and write, without glasses. I don't need reading. I don't need driving glasses, nothing on my, I have no restrictions.
I remember after the operation and during the recovery, I started for the first time to listen to visualization tapes, to really start changing my mindset and start visualizing what was a better life and a better way of seeing for me.
It's about being in the moment, being present. I'm very grateful for everything I have learned in my journey.
Oh, your child has a crossed eye, they're not quite old enough, but next year I'll do a surgery. It's malpractice as far as I'm concerned, that they don't spend time trying to teach the eyes how to work together, how to fuse together before they do the surgery. Maybe they won't even have to do any surgery because the eye will straighten out.
This girl, she was very easy to work with because of her age, being 10 years old. She's old enough to understand instructions, but also young enough that, she'll just fly with it. I explained to her why her eye was moving out and how she could change that tension, the left eye muscle tension, and release it back. First by helping her control it by making the turn worse, and then having it come back in. So as she made it worse, she could create more double vision, a bigger gap between the two images. And as she relaxed, the gap became smaller. And so she learned to play with it and learned she had some control. And then at some point I said, okay, now let your eyes just be open and blink. But as soon as things go double, I want you to close your eyes. Well, she opens her eyes and looks around and blinks, and she says, everything is single. And she's happy and excited, and I says, okay, now, if it goes double, I want you to close your eyes. She says, okay. And she just keeps looking around and blinking. And she was fine. And it didn't go back. It stayed fine. And so within 1 hour, she went from double vision in an eye that moved out to perfectly normal straight vision. And the surgery that was already half planned could be cancelled. And I heard from them several months later and again several years later that she was fine, never needed the surgery.
One of the things I found with Bates is he seemed to focus more about what was happening behind the eyes than necessarily what was happening in front of the eyes. Things like our mind, our memory, even our thoughts, and even our emotions all then have an impact on how we physically see.
When you got your glasses, what was going on in your life? And then they're like, I was in 3rd grade, my parents divorced, or we moved, or something like that. So yeah, and I was scared. It shows that there was something going on. It wasn't just suddenly you couldn't see the blackboard anymore.
I came from the business world. I was working for a bank and I was trained in economics and so on, and I didn't know I could go deeper into my eyes. They were just there with my glasses on, and then she opened me the door to this new world of health and well-being through the eyes. And it's so powerful that I couldn't think that through the eyes, so little part of the body, but so important, that through the eyes you could go and reach your whole being. That's amazing for me. It still is amazing. Yeah.
How we see with our eyes is a reflection of how we see life.
When we're unhappy or when we're bored, we tend to, and I did it a lot as a kid, and I'd go like this. And my mind, so my eyes are just kind of not really looking at anything, and my mind has gone to Hawaii or something, because I didn't want to be where I was, and it was a way of escaping. And it's often the smart kids who end up in the glasses. Yes, maybe they read a lot and no one tells them to change focus, but at the same time, it's also, I think, because they're bored. And nothing much is happening in the class that's engaging them.
I've had the experience where I've been feeling really good and suddenly my whole field of vision opened up. And I've had situations where I've come from a fear, I feel like I'm being tested or what's going on, and my field of vision absolutely collapses.
When you do eye exercises, sometimes you improve a lot, and then you get stuck because emotions that you have in you have not been able to be cleared. And this is what's so beautiful about combining body work and eye exercises. Movement brings the emotions, movement takes them away. And the person has to be patient with the process that he or she are passing through.
The eyes are a two-way street. We need to let the images come in, the light come in and receive. And we need to allow the emotions to be expressed. And the way I've been teaching is to see from the core. And the core in the human being is this energetic line through the body, right down the center, just like the core of the carrot is for the carrot. And when we can receive the images there, we don't strain. And it's the same with the feelings. The feelings just come out. The light comes in, and it's an easy flow as long as we can stay connected to ourselves in the present.
So when a person is nearsighted, we're not talking about their eyes. We're talking about their way of experiencing reality. We're talking about how they have compensated for perhaps going through a difficult period to make their world more comfortable, more workable. The changes that we make that often cause us to wear glasses are not bad changes. We've just made them at a time when that's what we needed in order to support our sense of safety and security as we move through the world. And then the discovery that we can possibly reverse that or see life in a different way is something that occurs at a different level of life when we're ready for that.
You have to make it work for yourself. If you just want the quick fix, like without going into your inner emotional area and really connecting with yourself and what you don't want to see, you're only going to get so far.
The interesting experience was when I felt clear, I saw clear. And from moment to moment it could shift.
Simply by working on my eyes, giving attention to the eyes and experimenting different ways of using the eyes, I would come into a different state of consciousness. I would be more open to different sides of reality.
Emotions are integral to our makeup. This is why the field of psycho, neuro, immunoendocrinology exists, which essentially says that the beliefs, ideas, intentions that we identify with then reflect themselves in our immunological functions, our endocrinological functions, in our entire being, in our entire makeup.
There's a real big connection between the emotional body and vision. So the more stress you're under, the more your peripheral visual field decreases.
I believe that the eyes are not just for seeing, receiving light. I think they're also for expressing emotions. The eyes, in my eyes, have two main purposes: to see and to cry. And when we cry, we're literally squeezing emotions out of our face through our tears. And there was a long period in my life where I did not cry. I suppressed a lot of emotions, and I believe that that's part of my root cause of my blurry vision that I had earlier in my life. And when I learned about natural vision improvement, I actually got more in touch with my emotions, and I actually let them process through, and I started crying more. And every time after a cry, my vision would be clearer. There was a release of emotions that I had been trapping in, and when I let them out, it had a positive effect on my vision. If you haven't had a good cry in a while, maybe it's time.
My speciality is really looking at vision of life, not just looking at people's eyesight, but I'm interested in making the best out of each person, in giving them the gifts and the talents and the strategies for moving forward in their lives. So I've done that through a process which I call life vision mentoring, which is really helping people to expand themselves and expand their own vision.
My work is not just about identifying blocks, it's about clearing these blocks as well. So they refer to me as Australia's the blockbuster, so it's pretty cool.
The eye exercises help, they're there to support the process, but the miracle is in changing the way people see both their past and their future so that they're more firmly fixed in the here and now.
Our senses are doors or gates between the inner person and the outer world. And under really clear circumstances, there is a clear connection.
Don't worry about the eyesight so much, worry about how you're seeing life. You know, what is it in life that you're not seeing? And for some people, if it's about past issues, it could be quite negative. It could be these negative issues they've had and stresses they've had. I help them to see them in a different way so that they can move forward. The same with other people. They have a stress about their vision of the future. You know, can I live up to what I want to be? And I think I can achieve that, but I'm not achieving what I thought I was going to achieve. And in the same way, I actually help those people not only get clarity on what that vision is, but actually take steps towards that. And in the process, the magic happens because their eyesight takes care of itself.
I think the eye care industry is changing, and it has to change. At the moment, there are things that you can get on the internet. You can get cheap glasses on the internet, and you can get diagnosis with little devices that attach to a smartphone. So you can measure your own prescription, you can order your own glasses. And that's going to change the eye care industry.
Lenses are going to take on a new meaning. It's not just correcting things. Like the blue light blockers, we're going to start using glasses that have a preventive approach. Like SLR is now producing an eye Zen lens. Cooper and other companies are producing the retinal blur, peripheral blur lenses. They are in the right direction.
My vision of eye care in the future is to have optometrists collaborating with vision educators, and we get the best of both worlds. So that people wishing to be able to see can get reduced lenses, can get support through optometrists, and they can get the guidance of a vision educator so that they can take personal responsibility for themselves.
My sense is that this humanistic approach could just fit into a little corner one day of an optometric office where maybe it's coaching that they provide as an extra service and have a therapist, trainer, vision educator there. And that would be a perfect mix.
When you go to the eye doctor, or especially if you bring a child to the eye doctor, that they actually ask you about your life, your questions. What are you doing with your eyes? How's your sleep? How's your stress? Where are you on the emotional scale, right? And then offer you this as a first option before you do anything else, right? And only if that doesn't work, or if some people might be, you know what, I just want the quick fix. I don't want to go inside. I don't want to know this. Fine, right? But have that as one of the first option, and then use glasses, contacts, or surgery.
The future of vision care should be eye health care. Eye, meaning not just the physical eye, but the totality of the person.
You are the one in charge. You are the consumer, and that consumerism means you ask for what you want. If you don't want drops in your eyes, say so. If you don't want strong glasses, talk to them. Inquire, and if they don't respond, find somebody that will. There are vision therapy optometrists, behavioral optometrists, developmental optometrists who are very receptive to myopia control, very open to vision therapy principles, part of what we do in vision education. So there's a symbiotic potential that's available, but it's the consumer, the people like you and I, that have to go out and ask for it.
Well, the really cool thing is that we see with the mind, and we can change our mind. And we do it all the time. So let's change it about vision.
Real change, whether it's in chemistry, physics, or biology, or relationships, or even getting your clothing clean, requires agitation. We say it all comes out in the wash It all becomes clear and clean. Interestingly enough, all this is happening in 2020, the year of clarity, the year of I see, which means I understand. And so the pandemic changes our awareness of the racial inequalities of the world, our awareness of the difference between leaders who lead and leaders that demand. All of that could never have become clearer than it is becoming right now. So while this is a time of disturbance, this is our moment of greatness.
We've already demonstrated, yes, we can do stuff by ourselves. The benefits of going to a vision educator, to me, just speeds up the process, number one, but it also makes it safe to do. Like, it makes it a safe process. Because I know I was quite scared about doing some of this stuff. Like, is this okay or is this not okay? You know, I was told by an optometrist, make sure you wear your glasses all the time or your eyes will get worse. Mm-hmm. And so when I started taking them off, there was some guilt that sort of came in, or am I doing the right thing with my eyes, or is this okay? And I found that by working with people and giving them that reassurance that things are okay, it sort of speeds up the process, but it also enables them to go within quicker for themselves.
It's difficult to see yourself from the outside. So a vision teacher can give you feedback of how you put your head, how you breathe, if you blink or not.
The teacher's job is to find what really works to help that student relax, because not everything does it. I mean, you give them all the relaxation drills and palming and so forth. Some people palm and that's like, wow, it's magic. Others palm and it's not magic.
The amount of people that can benefit from this and the amount of people that we can help through this. The stories that we've heard and the case histories of people that they've shared with us are just so inspiring, and that's really what originally fueled me. Maybe by going through watching this, it has already begun to shift or change your perception of vision or your belief about what's possible. Without even doing any practices, you might actually already start to see some change or improvement.
Go and Google, see what you can find, and take some first steps for yourself to finding out what you can do about your own eyesight.
If you change your vision, you absolutely will change your life.
I'm more aware now of the space between objects. Like looking at a tree, particularly the pine trees, rather than seeing the pine tree as a blur, I see the light between the leaves, I see the light between the branches.
I was able to pass my driver's test this year without lenses. Human body is just wonderfully made, and if you're willing to work with it, like using the Bates method, it's amazing to discover its capabilities.
I was enthralled, and I had someone immediately take me to the optometrist, remaining in a relaxed state, continuing to relax my vision. And immediately, the optometrist tested me, and my prescription had dropped 2 points that day.
It has greatly improved my color vision, imagination, and my ability to think clearly.
My left eye was 5.75, has improved to a trainer glass of 1 in myopia.
I have enhanced color perception and depth perception, enhanced peripheral vision.
I see in a whole new way now. I see details I never saw before, even before I needed glasses. And now I get to put those details in my paintings.
You know, don't believe me, believe yourself. You know, try things out, see what works for you, see what resonates.
Being able to see, when I close my eyes, the details of the room that I'm in. That was a new feat for me to do.
Because I'm absolutely determined not to wear glasses in my life. But I don't want it to be a fight. I want to relax into that. And I think with Barry's exercises, they're a relaxing process. They're not a fighting process.
This has been an amazing journey, and I can't wait to do more.
Bien, fantástico documental, maravillosa información que hemos recibido en este documental Visión 2020 del exterior al interior. Hemos llegado a estar más de 900 personas en vivo y en directo escuchando a todos estos educadores visuales de todas partes del mundo, y mientras íbamos escuchando, he visto el documental, he visto que llegaban preguntas que quisiera contestar, y antes de que se vayan, que veo que algunas personas ya se están marchando, quisiera avisarles de que están a tiempo de apuntarse al curso gratuito de Visión Natural que vamos a arrancar muy pronto. El día 17 de enero, en 10 días, vamos a empezar la divulgación de clases gratuitas de Visión Natural con las que van a aprender los métodos, las prácticas, las técnicas, los ejercicios que hay que hacer para mejorar la visión de manera natural. Todos estos educadores visuales han estado hablando de la posibilidad de mejorar la vista de manera natural, y en este curso gratuito al que les invito como regalo de Reyes también, aprenderéis cómo hacerlo concretamente, cómo hacerlo de manera práctica. También me gustaría volver a invitaros a suscribiros al canal en YouTube, youtube.com/volver a ver claro, para a lo largo de todas las semanas, todos los días, recibir más información, más vídeos gratuitos con ejercicios y con todo tipo de técnicas para poder cuidar de tus ojos y mejorar la visión. Y si hay cualquier duda adicional a las que voy a contestar, en cualquier momento podéis escribir a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com, ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com, donde yo misma o alguna persona del equipo de Volver a Ver Claro estará atendiendo todas las cuestiones que lleguen o que aparezcan. Bien, voy a dejar visible el enlace para apuntarse al curso gratuito de Visión Natural, que va a empezar en breve, y este enlace lo puedes aprovechar tú y también lo puedes compartir con otras personas que sientas que se pueden beneficiar de la visión natural, que lleven gafas desde hace mucho tiempo o recientemente, o que teman enfrentarse a una operación. Les vas a hacer un gran regalo, el darles la oportunidad de que puedan cuidar de sus ojos y mejorar de su visión de manera natural. El enlace es vip.volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro. vip.volveraverclaro.com/empieza-a-ver-claro. Empieza a ver claro con guiones entre medias. Muy bien, voy a mirar de las preguntas que han aparecido por aquí. Veo que están llegando muchos más comentarios ahora desde el final del documental, desde el momento que terminó el documental. Voy a empezar con las preguntas que había desde antes. Bien. Domingo pregunta si se puede mejorar naturalmente de la retinosis y las cataratas. Y la respuesta es sí. De hecho, en el programa avanzado Volver a Ver Claro tenemos un plan de ejercicios para poder resolver los problemas de retinosis y cataratas. Y tenemos muchísimos casos de personas que han podido evitar operaciones de cataratas documentados. Tenemos una lista de testimonios en YouTube ya con más de 500 testimonios, y domingo vas a poder buscar y encontrar testimonios de mejoras de retinitis y cataratas. Pedro pregunta si sirve para el desprendimiento de retina y el desprendimiento de vítreo. En este caso, cuando hay un desprendimiento de retina, ahí sí es necesario hacer una operación para anclar la retina, para que no se desprenda más y que no produzca ceguera mayor. Y después de esa operación de anclaje, cuando ya haya pasado el periodo de convalecencia, puedes practicar la visión natural y recuperar la visión que hayas perdido por el accidente y por la operación. ¿Se puede recuperar de manera natural de glaucoma? La respuesta es sí. Tanto si es solo un problema de una alta presión intraocular, se puede regularizar con ejercicios de visión natural, como los que vas a aprender en este curso gratuito al que te invito a que participes. Y también cuando ya se ha afectado el campo visual o el nervio óptico, también los ejercicios y las prácticas de visión natural permiten recuperar el campo visual que se perdió parcial o totalmente. Bien, pregunta Jorge, ¿cómo usar las gafas estenopeicas? Pues ese es uno de los elementos de los que vamos a hablar en el curso gratuito de Visión Natural, Despierta tu Visión, al que te invito a que te inscribas ahora. Van a ser 4 clases pregrabadas en vídeo, más 4 clases en vivo, y hablaremos de las gafas estenopeicas, de su papel y su función en el proceso de mejoría de la visión, como herramientas de transición y como herramientas de entrenamiento. Así que te invito a que te apuntes, Jorge. Natalia pregunta, cuando quieres mejorar la vista de manera natural, ¿es preferible dejar de usar los lentes del todo o es mejor hacerlo de manera progresiva, poco a poco? Bueno, mi punto de vista es que lo ideal es que todo el tiempo que puedas estar sin gafas, estés sin gafas, para que dejes espacio a tus ojos a ir mejorando y que se acostumbren a hacer el trabajo de ver sin gafas. Pero, por supuesto, este debe ser un proceso consciente y responsable, y todas las veces que necesites las gafas, póntelas, por ejemplo, para conducir, o si vas a usar herramientas peligrosas, o si tienes que hacer un trabajo que requiera mucha nitidez o mucha claridad específica, por ejemplo, contabilidad, no te quieres equivocar en los números, ahí póntelas, y en cuanto termines esa actividad, te las puedes volver a quitar. Y por el camino puedes usar gafas que tengan una prescripción menor, o gafas estenopeicas, como vamos a explicar también más al detalle en este curso gratuito, Despierta tu Visión, al que te invito a que te apuntes a través de este enlace que estás viendo aquí abajo. Bien, Lucía, Elvira, Maritza, Claudia y otras personas que estoy viendo por aquí como Adro, varias personas están preguntando dónde puedo encontrar un educador visual en mi país, en mi ciudad. Bien, aquí la recomendación que te voy a dar, y voy a cambiar esto, es que escribas al equipo de Volver a Ver Claro, escribe a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com, AINHOA, @volveraverclaro.com, y una vez que hayas escrito ahí, te van a poder contestar, ponerte en contacto con educadores visuales certificados en el método Volver a Ver Claro que pueda haber en tu zona. También he visto a alguna persona interesada en convertirse en educador visual, en aprender para ser educador o educadora visual. He visto a Mary Carvajal, por ejemplo, entre otros, que quiere ser educador visual y apuntarse a ser parte de este movimiento, de esta profesión, de enseñar a otras personas a recuperar una visión clara de manera natural, sin necesidad de gafas o lo menos posible, y sin necesidad de cirugías o lo menos posible. Pues bien, justo en este momento tenemos las puertas abiertas a las inscripciones para nuestra próxima generación de educadores visuales certificados. Así que escribe a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com si te interesa convertirte en educador, educadora visual, porque justo ahora estás en muy buen momento. Pero si lo que quieres no es ser educador o educadora visual, sino que estás aquí para ti, para tú mejorar tu vista y tu visión, o por alguna persona de tu entorno, algún ser querido, entonces lo ideal es aprovechar el curso gratuito que vamos a estar divulgando muy pronto, a mediados de enero, y si haces clic en este enlace vas a poder aprovechar todas las clases. Bien, déjenme ver ahora en el chat otros comentarios que pueda haber por aquí. Bueno, veo hay muchos comentarios de gratitud, de agradecimiento, de personas encantadas que les ha gustado muchísimo el documental, como Tamara, que dice espectacular, he quedado impresionada. Ajá, muy buena la película, gratitud infinita, muy interesante. Esa es una pregunta interesante también. María Celia Gómez pregunta, ¿es normal que te duela la cabeza si dejas de usar lentes? Esta es una de las sensaciones que sucede con relativa frecuencia cuando estás en el proceso de mejorar tu vista. Como tiene que haber distintos ajustes entre, los músculos de los ojos que permiten el enfoque están conectados con otros músculos del cuerpo, de todo el cuerpo, a través de las fascias. Cuando te quitas las gafas, esos músculos tienen que hacer otros ajustes para que puedas enfocar sin gafas. Y entonces se pueden manifestar tensiones en los ojos o alrededor, o en la cabeza, o en el estómago, y puede haber sensaciones de náusea en las fases iniciales de mejoría de la vista de manera natural. Cuando eso sucede, pues no pasa nada, simplemente hay que relajarse y continuar con las prácticas. Lo mismo que si uno quiere correr una maratón, ¿no? Al principio de empezar a correr, si no ha corrido nunca, es posible que se le formen bueno, pues ¿no? las llamadas agujetas, ¿no? Cristalitos que se forman en los músculos, donde duelen un poco los músculos al principio de empezar este proceso de entrenamiento, y luego conforme uno va entrenándose más, esas sensaciones desaparecen y ya sigue solamente mejorando. Entonces, esto puede suceder. Más mensajes de gratitud por su... muchas gracias por su vida y enseñanzas, gracias. Mira, Marta espera poder entrar, perfecto, pues utiliza el enlace para poderte apuntar al curso gratuito vip.volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro, y así vas a poder aprovechar plenamente esta posibilidad. Bien, sí, dice Denise, hablaron de todo, incluso de miopía y de glaucoma, pero hablaron un poco de los problemas de la edad, como la presbicia o el astigmatismo o el glaucoma. Denise, quédate tranquila, la visión natural sirve también para resolver la presbicia o la vista cansada, la fatiga visual, el astigmatismo, la miopía, la hipermetropía, el astigmatismo, lo he dicho, miopía, astigmatismo, hipermetropía, presbicia, la degeneración macular ligada a la edad, desprendimientos de retina, desprendimientos de vítreo, glaucoma, en fin, sirve para mejorar todos los problemas de visión y las condiciones del ojo. Mira, Ana María dice sí, hubo un homenaje al doctor Kaplan, porque el doctor Kaplan, que participa en el documental, falleció antes de que el documental se pudiera estrenar, y era una persona muy querida en nuestra comunidad de educadores visuales de todo el mundo. Y María Celia pregunta también si te puedes quitar los lentes poco a poco. Es posible, pero es preferible, si quieres mejorar tu visión nuevamente, que utilices los lentes lo menos posible o que utilices una graduación reducida. Esto lo voy a explicar al detalle en el curso gratuito volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro, al que os invito a participar. Muy bien, vamos a ver, muy hermoso, muy agradecida, muchas gracias. Mila dice, escuchar a tantas personas hablar sobre el método es muy importante para seguir con los ejercicios. ¿Verdad que anima mucho? ¿Verdad que da mucha seguridad y mucha certeza de que realmente esto es algo que sirve y que funciona? Perfecto, pues excelente que tengas esta motivación y puedas continuar. Julieta dice que maravilla, Gloria, me impactó mucho, Mons, estupendo, Julieta, muchas gracias. Ok, Lucía también pregunta por educadores visuales en Bogotá, Colombia. Te digo lo mismo, ponte en contacto con el equipo a través del mail ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com y ahí te van a poner en contacto con algún educador visual en Colombia. Muy bien, están pidiendo que pase el link de nuevo, Belkis, Ana María, pues aquí lo tenéis. vip.volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro para inscribirse. Yad pregunta, ¿quienes no ocupamos lentes podemos practicar estas técnicas? Por supuesto, las técnicas de visión natural sirven para tener una buena salud visual, para tener los ojos en buen estado, en buenas condiciones, en buena forma, y las personas que ya ven bien también mejoran su visión y además previenen problemas futuros de la vista. Así que, Yad, puedes perfectamente practicar estas técnicas. Elena pregunta por poder ver el documental completo. Yo avisé que este documental lo íbamos a emitir en vivo y en directo ahora. Como es un documental del que no soy dueña, los dueños son los productores, Nathan Oxenfeld y Barry Ockertell, y bueno, como yo sponsoricé y me ocupé de hacer el subtítulo en español, el acuerdo es que puedo mostrarlo, emitirlo gratuitamente para la comunidad Volver a Ver Claro una vez al año, y lo puedo dejar disponible por 24 horas. Entonces, Elena, si en las próximas 24 horas te puedes reservar un momento, vas a poderlo ver. Voy a tratar de acordar, de negociar, que me permitan dejarlo visible todo el fin de semana, pero no lo puedo garantizar. Entonces, aprovecha y míralo cuanto antes. Muy bien. Gloria dice, me impactó cuando el optometrista dijo que pago y doy las gracias por aumentar la graduación. ¡Qué horror! Pues sí, pero esto sucede en el 75% de los casos, que las gafas lo que hacen es producir que la visión empeore progresivamente, y la visión natural lo que hace es que la visión mejore progresivamente, que es lo que queremos. Buenísimo. Más personas interesadas en ser educadores visuales, bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Escriban a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com para poder informarse sobre esta posibilidad que está abierta en este momento. Muy bien. Buenísimo. Dice María Cristina, gracias querida Ainhoa, hice todos los cursos gratuitos y tiré mis multifocales. Buenísimo. ¿Volverás a pasar esta película? Estaba trabajando y vi solo la mitad. Nuevamente va a estar disponible con certeza por 24 horas. Y quizá, si consigo convencer a Barry y Nathan, hasta el final del fin de semana, pero no lo sé a ciencia cierta. Así que aprovéchalo cuanto antes. Y en cualquier caso, aprovecha la posibilidad que vas a tener en este mes de enero de participar en el curso gratuito de Visión Natural, Despierta tu visión, y hemos puesto aquí el enlace, pip.volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro, donde vas a aprender ejercicios, técnicas, prácticas concretos, aplicables, que puedes usar cada día para mejorar tu visión de manera natural. Me piden que ponga el enlace en el chat. Ahora mismo lo pongo. Un momentito. Este mismo enlace lo voy a poner en el chat. Ok, lo mismo que lo enseño. Vale. Y para escribirme a mí, ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com. Ahí está el enlace y la posibilidad de inscribirse. A ver, y con esto he perdido el hilo de por dónde iban las preguntas. Dadme un poquito de tiempo que vaya subiendo hacia arriba. Y mientras veo que Pilar dice, mil gracias, hay una película súper interesante, me ha animado mucho a seguir practicando. Quiero aprovechar esta nueva oportunidad de hacer un curso gratuito contigo. Maravilloso, bienvenida. Eres una seguidora, excelente. Vamos a ver, sigo buscando para arriba. Y por supuesto, podéis participar todas las veces que queráis en este curso gratuito. Bien, ya volví a encontrar el hilo, era por aquí. Muy bien, buenas tardes desde Venezuela. Quiero seguir aprendiendo para volver a ver claro. Pues aprovecha este curso gratuito, volveraverclaro.com, empieza a ver claro, donde voy a entregar muchísimo contenido de gran valor. Con este curso gratuito hay muchísimas personas que ya han conseguido resolver los problemas de visión. Bien. ¿Qué más? El link ya lo he puesto. En el chat también ya lo he puesto. Mira, qué bonito. Alma abuela dice, 50 años usé gafas y ahora gracias a Ainhoa enhebro las agujas, leo y observo los insectos, hasta tan chiquitito, todo con el curso gratuito de hace unos años. Pues aquí tenemos un ejemplo de alguien que ha logrado resolver los problemas de visión simplemente con el curso gratuito que voy a estar divulgando a partir de mediados de enero. Así que date este regalo de principio de año, regalo de Reyes. Une a tus propósitos de 2023 el cuidar de tus ojos y mejorar tu visión y, ¿por qué no?, poder tirar las gafas y evitar cirugías y tener una buena vista para toda la vida. Creo que es algo que lo vale. Buenísimo. Y felicidades, alma abuela, por haber, después de 50 años, podido prescindir de las gafas y ver los insectos, enhebrar las agujas y todo. Óscar dice, me ha encantado el documental, en mi caso particular el problema es debido al ojo seco y utilizo lágrimas, pero desconozco cómo mejorarlo. Mira, Óscar, el ojo seco es de los síntomas más fáciles de resolver y en el curso gratuito vamos a explicar los ejercicios que necesitas para poder aprender a resolver este problema del ojo seco. Muy bien. Mira, Gloria Salas, me inscribí a volver a ver claro, quiero tomar el curso, quiero ser educadora visual. Y muchas gracias y saludos desde Chile. Buenísimo. Estamos felices y damos la bienvenida a todas aquellas personas que quieran convertirse en educadores visuales porque el mundo necesita muchas más personas dedicadas a esta profesión. Más de 1/3 de la población mundial tiene problemas de visión. A partir de los 40, casi todo el mundo tiene problemas de visión. Además, tenemos una tendencia de que a la gente le interesa cada vez más la salud holística, los abordajes naturales, hacerse responsables de sí mismos y de su salud. Y, sin embargo, comparativamente, por ahora hay relativamente pocos educadores visuales en el mundo hispanohablante. Así que si te conviertes en educadora visual, seguro que vas a tener la clientela asegurada, mucha gente a la que vas a poder ayudar a tu alrededor. Buenísimo, Graciela, muy valioso material, mucho por hacer. Gracias por hacerlo posible. Muchas gracias por las gracias. Bueno, Alejandra pregunta, cuando mi esposo realiza los ejercicios le da dolor de cabeza. Decía antes que es una de las reacciones que puede suceder como parte del proceso de mejoría, pero sí es importante que en ese momento deje de hacer los ejercicios, haga relajación con palmeo, con asoleo o con un baño de agua con sal para que pueda volver a relajarse y que después pueda seguir continuando con la mejoría. Muy bien, Sara Portillo, también quiere ser educadora visual, excelente. Entonces te animo a escribir a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com para que puedas preguntar por esta posibilidad y que te puedas inscribir a la siguiente generación de educadores visuales que se van a certificar en el método Volver a Ver Claro. Tamara pregunta, ¿personas que ya nos hemos operado con bisturí también podemos regenerar nuestra vista a través de ejercicios? Sí, muchas de las personas que se apuntan a los cursos gratuitos, a los cursos de pago de Volver a Ver Claro, ya se han operado. La operación tuvo un éxito parcial o total, pero luego regresó el síntoma, o la propia operación generó otros problemas y con visión natural puedes tener una mucho mejor visión. Puedes recuperar lo que hayas perdido, las secuelas de la operación o, aunque la operación haya quedado bien, pues mejorar igualmente tu vista. O sea, es totalmente posible. Ok. En Perú es complicado ir a un oftalmólogo porque siempre me dicen de la operación intraocular. Pues Mila, si en Perú no estás encontrando soluciones, tienes aquí la posibilidad de hacer el curso gratuito Despierta tu visión y tener una opción, una posibilidad alternativa de mejorar tu visión, posiblemente sin necesidad de hacer la operación, porque las cataratas se pueden resolver con visión natural y muchísima gente no necesita operarse para ponerse un lente intraocular. Muy bien, Ana María se ha anotado de nuevo. Buenísimo. Excelente, bienvenida. Tamara pregunta por si se puede recuperar la visión después de sufrir vasculitis retiniana. Se puede mejorar, desde luego. Y cuánto mejores y cuánto tiempo te cueste mejorar ya depende de diversos factores, pero lo que desde luego sí puedes es mejorar. Siempre que te pongas a practicar un buen cuidado de tus ojos y de tu visión, tu cuerpo responde y vas a mejorar la visión, la percepción y por lo tanto tu calidad de vida. ¿Se puede mejorar la visión cuando es afectada por causa de los medicamentos? Habría que ver si es necesario hacer algún otro tipo de desintoxicación, pero cuando hay una peora de la visión, cuando la visión se deteriora o declina, siempre hay margen de maniobra para poder mejorarla. Ok, algunas personas dicen que tuvieron problemas con los subtítulos porque la letra estaba amarilla. De hecho, entre todas las opciones que me dieron, elegimos la letra más grande y de mayor contraste. Pero bueno, es lo que pudimos hacer subtitulando el documental. Quizá para otra ocasión nos podamos plantear hacer lo que se llama un voice-over, ¿no? Que se escuche otra persona hablando en español por encima del documental, pero bueno, ese es otro proyecto diferente y pues si podemos lo haremos, pero pues no sé decir para cuándo estaría lista, cuándo estaría listo. Muy bien. Sí, Josefina, sería maravilloso traducirlo al español, vamos a tratar, pero no puedo prometer si lo hagamos o cuándo lo hagamos. Muy bien. Bien, ¿dónde conseguir gafas estenopeicas? Pues es muy fácil encontrarlas online. Le puedes preguntar a Google y las puedes encontrar en Mercado Libre, en Amazon, en, ¿cómo se llama? Alibaba. No, bueno, hay muchas páginas web donde venden distintos objetos y los mandan online y puedes encontrar ahí las gafas estenopeicas. Mila dice, nadie cree que con la medida tan alta que tengo veo mejor y gracias a los ejercicios que hago. Lo más importante es cómo me siento y cómo veo. Mila, felicidades por estar tomando en tus manos tu propia salud y más allá de lo que digan o lo que crean los demás, como bien dices, lo más importante es el cambio que te está permitiendo a ti, la mejoría de la calidad de vida que tienes. Y cada mejoría que hagas en tu vista se repercute en tu relación con el mundo y en tu funcionalidad de una manera impresionante. Así que enhorabuena y persevera, que seguro que lograrás grandes cosas. Muy bien, Isabel Magaña, también quiere ser educadora visual. Excelente. Muy bien. Yad pregunta, cuando estamos mucho tiempo en la computadora, aparte de darnos algunos espacios para ver hacia otros puntos o descansar, ¿podemos utilizar lentes de luz azul? Yo para esto recomiendo, Yad, mejor que poner los lentes o los filtros a tus ojos, ponle el filtro a la pantalla. Hay filtros que sirven para filtrar la luz azul de la pantalla. Y es mejor hacerlo así para que tus ojos queden libres y no se malacostumbren a los malos hábitos que producen las gafas de cristal. También hablaremos de filtros físicos y filtros virtuales para los ordenadores en el curso gratuito al que os estoy invitando a apuntaros, Despierta tu visión, a través de este enlace vip.volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro. Muy bien, más personas preguntando si pueden ver el documental en diferido. Solo por 24 horas va a estar disponible, salvo que consiga una extensión, pero 24 horas sí tengo la certeza. Y lo mismo digo de las gafas amarillas o las gafas azules. Es preferible poner el filtro a la pantalla del ordenador, mejor que a los ojos. Graciela pregunta, ¿cómo puedo convertirme en educador visual o educadora visual certificada? Bien, pues me gustaría invitarte a que escribas a volveraverclaro.com, ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com, porque ahí te van a poder informar. Voy a editar esto para poner la información ahí también. Para ser educador o educadora visual, escribe a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com. Vale. Bien, ahí he puesto otra vez el correo electrónico, el enlace para el curso gratuito y el correo electrónico. Vamos a ver. Bien. Julieta Bonilla también quiere mejorar la visión y ayudar a otros. Genial, pues quizá el primer paso es apuntarte al curso gratuito. O si quieres convertirte en educadora visual, pues escríbenos para que te demos las distintas opciones. Humberto pregunta, ¿hay el curso gratuito en italiano? Pues todavía no, actualmente lo tenemos disponible en español y en inglés, pero en italiano, en francés, en alemán, todavía no. Así que te invitaría a que lo puedas mirar en español o en inglés. ¿Ok? Bien, Vero también se quiere convertir en educadora visual. Buenísimo. A tus 57 años, solo con vista cansada, haces los ejercicios si te gustaría. Pues escríbenos a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com y ahí te podremos informar. Muy bien. Excelente. Mira, dice la doctora Adriana Cornejo, gracias, hice un año de educación visual, volví a recuperar mi visión y sigo sin lentes. No nos enseñan a cuidar la vista. Para mí el método Bates es como el doctor Hammer de la oftalmología. Pues sí, podríamos decir algo así. Gracias por compartir el testimonio y reforzar lo que hemos venido viendo en el documental, que sí se puede mejorar la vista de manera natural. Máximo pregunta, empecé a tener presbicia y desde que me mandaron las gafas he perdido vista muy rápido. Esto es muy típico y más todavía con las gafas multifocales o progresivas, empeoran la visión muy rápido. ¿Con este curso podré recuperar al menos la vista que tenía antes de ponerme las gafas? Sí, Máximo, vas a poder. Ahora tienes que empezar por apuntarte, participar y obviamente hacer los ejercicios. Así que muchas felicidades por estar aquí y bienvenido al curso. Bien, María comenta, veo mejor cuando hay más luz natural, normal, porque el sol nos ayuda a ver. Hace como 3 años que necesito lentes para leer. Bueno, pues tienes la oportunidad de poder librarte de esos lentes si aprendes y practicas con el curso gratuito que vamos a divulgar a mediados de enero el curso Despierta tu Visión, al que te puedes apuntar a través de este enlace, volveraverclaro.com, empieza a ver claro. Buenísimo, personas encantadas de que el documental fue pedagógico e interesante, pidiendo el link para el curso gratuito, aquí está. El link para compartir en WhatsApp, aquí está, también lo he puesto en el chat si es más fácil copiarlo y pegarlo. Buenísimo. Valentina comenta, muchas gracias, muy interesante la película, listo para el curso, buenísimo, qué bien que ya te hayas apuntado. Ivonne, qué felicidad, me encantó la película. Ivonne, qué gusto verte por aquí, siempre un placer saludarte. Dale, si ves a mi hermano, a mis padres en Pamplona, mándales un gran abrazo. Buenísimo. Sara, fue un documental genial, muchas gracias, mi doctora, buenísimo. Belkis, ¿cuál es el link para compartir por WhatsApp? Aquí lo tienes, vip.volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro. ¿A qué se debe cuando le pica a uno los ojos? Podrían ser muchas cosas, Javier Trujillo, pero también vas a aprender lo que necesitas para este tipo de condiciones en este curso gratuito. Esteban, muy buena la película, me interesa el curso gratis que va a iniciar dentro de poco, llega en buena hora, pues aquí tienes el enlace para apuntar. Y Maneli pregunta, ¿el curso se podría subtitular en inglés? No hace falta que lo subtitulemos en inglés porque el curso gratuito y el curso avanzado, volver a ver claro, los hemos creado en inglés. Entonces tienes lo mismo en inglés. Si quieres que te demos la información, mándanos un correo a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com y te daremos los enlaces para acceder al curso en inglés. Ok, Lucía da las gracias, muchísimas gracias por las gracias, hay gente agradeciendo por el documental, la información, buenísimo. Con una graduación reducida de cuántas dioptrías, por ejemplo, en una miopía de 10 dioptrías. Es una buena idea reducir dioptría a dioptría o que en la medida que te hagan de la agudeza visual y la nitidez tengas un 80% para que tu progresión sea algo amable contigo, que no sea demasiado desafiante y bueno, pues te abrumes y lo abandones. Entonces es preferible bajar dioptría a dioptría. ¿Cuáles son los ejercicios básicos para cuidar la vista si ya la tienes bien? Pues también los vas a aprender en este curso gratuito que vamos a divulgar a partir de mediados de enero. Pero te adelanto que el palmeo, el asoleo, el parpadeo, los salpicados, los baños de ojos, el neti, que son todo cosas que explicaremos, son parte de estos ejercicios básicos. Muy bien. Vivi, gracias. Estoy en pleno proceso de recuperación con el equipo de Volver a Ver Claro y este documental me entusiasmó mucho más. Felicidades, me alegro muchísimo. La molestia alrededor de los músculos de los ojos podría ser porque ya estás en proceso de mejoría. En cualquier caso, vas a poder aprender técnicas para que eso desaparezca. Y también preguntan, ver borroso de cerca, ¿qué me indica? Podría ser un inicio de presbicia, de vista cansada, Giselle. Y también vas a aprender ejercicios en el curso gratuito para poder revertir esta condición y volver a ver bien de cerca. Lucía, la película aclaró mis expectativas, buenísimo. El documental muy interesante, buenísimo. Bien, pregunta Sunset. Qué lindo, una pregunta. Tengo moscas volantes, bastantes. ¿Puedo hacer ejercicios con los ojos? Sí puedes, y son de las primeras cosas que desaparecen al practicar la visión natural. Las moscas volantes, las miodepsias o las arañitas que dicen, eso desaparece de lo más rápido practicando los ejercicios de visión natural. Y los ejercicios más convenientes para el glaucoma, pues son muy convenientes las alternancias de palmeo y asoleo y vamos a hablar más de esto también en el curso gratuito Despierta tu Visión, para que tienes aquí el enlace para apuntarte, vip.volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro. El glaucoma, como otros síntomas de la vista, tiene una componente emocional muy importante y de esto también hablaremos en el curso gratuito. ¿Cómo ver de nuevo la película? Pues en las próximas 24 horas es lo más seguro, porque si no, lo más probable es que la podamos emitir nuevamente dentro de un año. También muchos agradecimientos, buenísimo, por ejemplo, Pilar, súper interesante, me ha animado mucho a seguir practicando, quiero aprovechar la nueva oportunidad de hacer el curso gratuito contigo, soy tu seguidora, buenísimo. Ok. Niños pequeños pueden utilizar la visión natural, desde luego. Lo único es que con los niños pequeños tenemos que convertirlo en un juego. Por ejemplo, podemos jugar a piratas, nos ponemos parches y hacemos las distintas prácticas de visión natural. Muy bien. Si tengo moscas volantes, ya hemos contestado. Para las cataratas también sirve. Bien. ¿Dónde veo nuevamente la película? Aquí mismo. De hecho, si no estás inscrito o inscrita, o suscrita a nuestro canal de YouTube, pues te invito a que lo hagas en este mismo canal, youtube.com/volver a ver claro, o si ya estás en YouTube, simplemente haz clic en el botón para suscribirte y haz clic en la campanita para tener nuestras notificaciones y así te avisaremos de todo lo que vayamos haciendo. Muy bien. Ok. Tengo estrabismo en el ojo izquierdo, también eso se puede corregir. Para quienes están llegando y no se han enterado, pueden ver este documental en las próximas 24 horas. ¿La maculopatía se puede mejorar? Sí se puede mejorar. Y también mis peques tienen 13 y 8 años, tienen astigmatismo, ¿pueden mejorar? Sí pueden mejorar. Tenemos también testimonios de niños, de mamás y papás que han practicado con sus hijos y todos han mejorado en esa lista de testimonios que tenemos con más de 500 personas ya. Ok, muy bien. El enlace lo están pidiendo, ya lo estoy poniendo. Las moscas volantes, ya hemos contestado. Ok, alguna persona dice que tocó el link y la página no está activada. Un momentito. Acabo de comunicarlo al equipo si hay algún problema con el enlace, pero si estáis teniendo alguna dificultad para apuntaros, entonces escribid un mensaje a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com, o si sale que es malicioso o alguna cosa así, escribid a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com para que bueno, pues el equipo os pueda ayudar con cualquier dificultad. ¿Sirve para la degeneración macular? Sí, sí sirve. Ok, moscas volantes también sirve. ¿Qué es trabajar con la percepción? Pues, Lucía, es darte cuenta de lo que ves. Y muchas de las prácticas son para que te des cuenta de lo que ves. Y cuando estás poniendo tu atención, tu foco, tu presencia a mirar y a percibir, entonces tu ojo también responde a eso. Bien, felicitaciones por la película, por la información. Ivonne, yo también te quiero mucho. Ivonne, amiga de mi hermano que está ella formándose para ser educadora visual y también por aquí en el día de hoy, qué bueno. ¿Se puede fortalecer el párpado? Claro que sí se puede. Gracias, Ana María, por tus palabras. Dices que fui una revelación en tu vida. Muchísimas gracias. Un placer y un honor el estar aquí al servicio para transformar las vidas de tantas personas, porque cuando transformas tu vista, transformas tu vida. Es maravilloso. Y Julieta, emocionada de que se puedan dejar de usar las gafas y ver las letras pequeñitas del celular y las lecturas favoritas. Claro que sí. Adelante con ello. Sonia, dices, yo vivo en Estados Unidos, tengo 2 años de operada de cataratas y aún uso gafas menos fuertes, con letras pequeñas y me gustaría no usarlas. Pues Sonia, tienes la posibilidad de prescindir de las gafas para ver de cerca, que es lo que suele pasar cuando uno se opera de cataratas, que luego necesita gafas para ver de cerca, pero con visión natural puedes entrenar tus ojos nuevamente a aprender a ver de cerca. Así que vas a tener la posibilidad de hacerlo. Ok. Bien, Ivonne está ofreciendo mandar los enlaces para convertirse en educadora visual. Buenísimo, el enlace lo hemos puesto, está aquí visible. Ok. Pregunta Fabián, soy odontólogo y debo usar lupas para mi trabajo. Sufro de migrañas frecuentes. ¿Las lupas pueden ser la causa? Podría ser. Yo te invitaría a que aprendas y practiques los ejercicios de visión natural. De hecho, en la edición en curso de Volver a ver claro, perdón, de la certificación para convertirse en educadores visuales, del método Volver a ver claro, tenemos a una odontóloga israelí que tiene el mismo caso que tú y está encantada por lo que está aprendiendo. Su vista ha mejorado muchísimo y ahora, pues cuando pasa consulta como dentista, también enseña a la gente a ver bien y a cuidar de sus ojos. Me parece que es una combinación perfecta. Muy bien, cuando me quito los lentes para ver o leer sin ellos me duelen los ojos. Alba, entonces seguramente tienes muchísima tensión en los ojos y es importante que empieces con las prácticas de visión natural. Quizá en tu caso el ir dejando las gafas será algo más lento, más progresivo, pero vas a poder mejorar esta condición también. ¿Ok? Si se ha hecho trasplante de córnea, pero uno de los ojos tiene lesión en el vítreo, ¿se puede usar el método? Sí se puede, Camila, también puedes. Rosa, excelente presentación, quiero una técnica para dejar de usar los lentes. Yo soy docente. Muy bien, pues tienes aquí el enlace para el curso gratuito, volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro, donde vas a aprender esas técnicas para dejar de usar los lentes, que es tan práctico cuando uno tiene que leer mucho, corregir exámenes, cuando es docente, ¿no? Bebe Sánchez, fui operada de miopía en ambos ojos, ¿puedo hacer también los ejercicios? Sí, esto sucede después de operarse de miopía, al tiempo la miopía regresa y además ahora ya tienes vista cansada. Aprender los ejercicios te va a servir para mejorar de la miopía y para mejorar de la vista cansada, de la presbicia. Así que anótate en este enlace, volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro. Y lo mismo, María Isabel, si ya te has operado varias veces, depresión ocular, glaucoma, visión borrosa, etcétera, pues es tanto más urgente que empieces a aprender visión natural, que empieces a practicar los ejercicios. Y para todos aquellos que estén teniendo dificultades para apuntarse, podéis escribir a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com y os ayudamos a inscribiros. ¿Ok? Tamara también pregunta, para quienes trabajamos en computadora por mucho tiempo, ¿debemos usar lentes protectores o hay ejercicios para hacerlos al terminar de trabajar? Lo ideal es poner el filtro a la pantalla, no a tus ojos. Y además hacer los ejercicios, que los vas a aprender en este curso gratuito. Ok, muy bien. ¿La mácula se puede curar? Pregunta Rosario. Sí, sí se puede curar. Ok, los subtítulos se ven genial, muy bien. Me gustaría ver el documental otra vez en inglés, ya que me conecté tarde, para enseñárselo a mi nieta que solamente habla inglés. Pues María, mañana lo vamos a enseñar en inglés sin subtítulos. Entonces, si quieres tener esta oportunidad, escríbenos a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com para que te puedan enviar el enlace para verlo en inglés. Y Alicia pregunta también si el ojo vago también se puede recuperar. La respuesta es que sí. Muy bien, usando gafas bifocales, ¿puedo volver a leer de cerca? Sí, pero como hemos dicho, las gafas bifocales compensan, no corrigen, no mejoran. Y con el tiempo es probable que tu visión se deteriore. Y mira, tienes aquí otro comentario de Pacomio Hernando que dice: sois maravillosos, antes usaba gafas bifocales y gafas para conducir de día y de noche y ahora ya no las uso, solo para cerca de letras pequeñas, gracias a vosotros. O sea que Rubén, tienes el ejemplo de otro compañero que puede prescindir ya de las gafas bifocales habiendo aprendido a ver bien naturalmente. Ok, muchas personas ya se han apuntado, excelente. Ok, Otto tiene una sobrina que necesita ayuda, pues también os podéis inscribir juntos a este curso. María Concepción no entiende que una educadora del documental use gafas. Pues yo creo que esta fue una elección a propósito de los productores de Nathan Oxenfeld y Barry Ockertell, porque en el mundo hay muchas opciones y cada uno es libre de elegir lo que considere que le funciona mejor. Y si una persona prefiere operarse, es muy libre de operarse. Y si una persona prefiere usar gafas, es muy libre de usar gafas. Y si una persona con la visión natural ha mejorado mucho su visión, pero todavía hay momentos o para situaciones que requiera gafas, pues también está correcto que las use. La mayoría de la gente logra la capacidad de dejar de usar las gafas. Y si viste María Concepción, la mayoría de los educadores visuales que aparecieron en el documental ya no necesitaban gafas de ningún tipo. Perfecto, ya están en WhatsApp, ya han entrado. Jaime, avisaremos de todo por email una vez que te inscribas, de las fechas, los horarios, cómo ver los vídeos del curso gratuito, Despierta tu Visión. Así que simplemente hay que apuntarse. Muy bien, Sara Portillo, también quiere ser educadora visual. Excelente. Pues Sara, te invito a que te apuntes, que nos escribas a través de ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com para avisarnos de tu deseo de ser educadora visual y que te podamos explicar la oportunidad. Ajá, mi querida Emma, qué guapa sales en la foto. Sí, claro que sí, tú eres participante de Volver a Ver Claro. Qué rico que compartas que ya estás viendo mejor y más claro y qué bueno que te haya gustado la película. Muy bien. Ok, también Marta, gracias por los cursos gratuitos. Actualmente uso menos las gafas y cuando no las necesito y me las pongo por mal hábito me duele la cabeza. Ajá, esto pasa. Y bueno, conforme vas mejorando ya dejarás de tener ese hábito de las gafas y verás cada vez mejor y ya no necesitarás que te duela la cabeza al ponértelas. Maripaz, documental muy motivador, sorprendida porque animan a usar gafas con diferentes graduaciones. Bueno, dentro del mundo de los educadores visuales, como decíamos, también hay distintos puntos de vista y distintas opiniones. Hay personas para quienes usar progresivamente gafas de una graduación menor es beneficioso o usar distintas gafas para distintas situaciones es beneficioso. Ok, bien, personas contentas, personas que quieren volver de nuevo el documental, va a estar disponible 24 horas más. Ok, para el glaucoma también sirve. Vale, personas que han tenido daños por la cirugía con el láser, sí, también puedes mejorar la visión de manera natural si esto te sucedió. Y también, Sara, si fuiste operada y te retiraron el vítreo y las cataratas, y te inyectaron en la mácula, bueno, pues has tenido ahí un combo de cosas, ya es tiempo que aprendas a cuidar de tus ojos y a mejorar tu visión naturalmente. Isabel también confirma, las moscas volantes disminuyen muy rápido. Buenísimo. Y Belkis también, ya puedo comentar que yo usaba lentes para ver de cerca y de lejos y con los ejercicios y sobre todo al ver el sol he dejado de usarlos y veo de lejos sin los lentes. ¡Felicidades! Qué bueno que compartas tu testimonio también. Excelente, mucha gente felicitando y agradeciendo el del documental, la información tan interesante. Isabel también nos dice que mejoró en menos de 24 horas de ojo seco. Buenísimo. Y si no se tiene correo electrónico, ¿cómo se inscriben? Ok, pues buena pregunta. Tenemos grupos de WhatsApp, pero en este momento no tengo el enlace a mano. Déjame que lo busque, a ver si tengo un enlace de WhatsApp. Sí, mira, por volveraverclaro.com/WhatsApp. También a través de volveraverclaro.com/WhatsApp te puedes apuntar para ver las clases gratuitas, el curso gratuito Despierta tu Visión. Muy bien, otras personas se han podido apuntar, excelente. Voy a dejar ahora el de WhatsApp un rato. Para las cataratas sirve. Ok, para la sensación como de moscas volantes, de gotas negras también sirve. Para miopía desde los 9 años también se puede corregir, Arturo. Es de las cosas que suceden también con relativa facilidad. ¿Cuánto tiempo dura el curso gratuito y los horarios? Mira, José Luis, lo ideal es que te apuntes porque una vez que te inscribas vas a recibir toda la información de horarios, fechas, duración, etc. Bien. Ok. Bueno. Y vuelvo a poner la película. Idalia va a estar disponible 24 horas aquí mismo en YouTube también. La ceguera por toxoplasmosis, ¿se puede recuperar? Personas que han llegado a estar ciegas y que tienen baja visión, tenemos muchos casos también de personas que mejoran. El proceso es más lento cuando ya hay una ceguera, y tampoco podemos garantizar que sea al 100%, pero sí hay una mejoría importante si hay dedicación y práctica. Y concretamente para la pérdida de visión por toxoplasmosis tenemos un programa especial de ejercicios, así que es posible. Muy bien. Para el agujero macular también sirve. Para desprendimiento de retina o posterior a desprendimiento de retina, primero hay que anclarla y luego la convalecencia y después ya se puede practicar. Buenísimo. Aquí tenemos también a Monse, que ya se ha apuntado. Nos veremos en el curso. Fabuloso. Y Gregorio, otro más, que quiere ser educador visual y que pide que lo anotemos. En realidad te tienes que anotar tú, o mejor dicho, nos tienes que escribir por correo electrónico a ainhoa@volveraverclaro.com para que te podamos informar de las oportunidades que tienes para convertirte en educador visual. Muy bien, he mirado ya todos los comentarios que había en el chat, así rápidamente. Y bueno, pues me gustaría nuevamente felicitarte por haber visto este documental y haberte quedado también a este ratito de preguntas y respuestas. Hemos estado más de 900 personas en directo interesadas por la visión natural, por cuidar de los ojos y mejorar la visión naturalmente, de forma 100% natural, científicamente validada, para poder reducir, prescindir, evitar lentes y cirugía. Y nuevamente déjame que te invite hoy como regalo de Reyes y con mi felicitación para un feliz 2023 y deseando que forme parte de tus propósitos de cuidarte y mejorar tu salud y tu calidad de vida, el que participes en el curso gratuito Despierta tu Visión, al que te puedes apuntar por mail con el enlace bit.volveraverclaro.com/empieza a ver claro, y también te puedes apuntar por WhatsApp en volveraverclaro.com/WhatsApp. Y si todavía no te has suscrito a nuestro canal, me gustaría invitarte a que lo hagas ahora haciendo clic en la campanita, en el botón para suscribirse. Muy bien, pues felicidades a todos, muchas gracias. Os pongo nuevamente el enlace para inscribirse por WhatsApp, para aquellos que quieran, volveraverclaro.com/WhatsApp. Y muy pronto, si os apuntáis, si os suscribís por mail, por WhatsApp, si os suscribís al canal de YouTube, os vamos a estar dando noticias para seguir cuidando de estos dos maravillosos regalos que hoy abrimos por la mañana del Día de Reyes, nuestros queridos ojos que nos permiten ver este mundo tan bonito. Así que me despido por ahora deseándote que te cuides mucho, que seas feliz, que disfrutes de la belleza de la vida y nos vemos muy pronto, más y mejor. Adiós, chao, chao.